All right, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the recap. Michael D'Angelo, joined as always by my partner in crime, Mr. Big D, Daryl Ortiz. And gosh, it feels like we're always going from one event to the other because
I know.
Survivor Series is November 29th. So we're
Yeah.
20 days out. We'll say 3 weeks. 3 weeks out from
Mhm.
Survivor Series. Obviously, once we get through Raw and SmackDown this week, we're going to be hitting that 2 week mark already. Little concerned. We don't have any. We've got a lot of rumors, but we haven't really seen any setups for the
Speculations.
War Game match. So I'm a little concerned there that they're gonna fast track it because they're trying to reshuffle everything with Seth Rollins being out. But
Well,
they're
maybe.
starting down that road. Yeah, maybe we'll
Maybe.
see.
We'll see because it's kicked off Raw with CM Punk coming out and of course doing his promo mocking Seth, a lot of foreshadowing I felt because he, mocked the whole belt spinning thing over his head to make fun of Seth. He really pushing at Seth. And he was saying, you come out here and try to take this from me again, I'll put you back in the
Put you back on the couch.
yeah, put you
Yeah,
back on the couch, whatever, right? Of course, that brings out the Vision because the Bronze are like, we're not finished with you yet, and rightfully so. I think Braun Breaker deserves a proper title push. I think he is
I do
due.
too.
And I kind of would now, after I had some time to mull it over, I like the idea of him taking it off of Punk, kind of like a passing of the torch, because CM Punk passing it over to Braun Breaker would be kind of nice. I like that. So we'll see. Of course, before that happened, CM Punk was saying, he's wanting to, he's running down names of wrestlers he wants to defend his title against because he's going to be a fighting champion, and brings out Logan Paul. And just like I think we all had
Yeah,
the same reaction, CM Punk's like, no, 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 not go. I like that he told him, Ilya got a nice, open challenge for the US title on SmackDown. That's more your speed. And I was like,
yeah,
yes, please get out of here. And yeah, so Logan Paul comes out, of course, trying to cut the your old promo and again his
yeah.
Chat GPT promos, but it's just it was all right, but it did set up for the later on in the night. So we'll see how that. We'll get to that here in a sec. Again,
Yeah, so
that brought up the Braun.
there was like a CM Punk kind of saved Logan Paul. Like Logan Paul did come down during the beatdown and
Yeah,
kind of helped. So it's kind of like, are they going to help each other?
yeah,
Are they not
yeah.
going to
Because the
help each
Bronze just
other?
shoved him into the ring apron, and then like Logan Paul was trying to get out of there quick, and he didn't want no trouble with them. But then they pushed him through, and then Logan Paul just let him get beat. He kind of stood there and waited, but nothing became of
But
it.
then he came in, yeah, and
Yeah,
then he
then
came
he
in and they
went
tried
in.
to help. Then he got beat down, and then you
Yeah,
got CM Punk coming to save him. So they tried. I could see right through all this and was like,
of
okay,
course.
they're clearly not going to be aligned. However, they did the setup, and so you kind of knew that we're going to circle back to this later.
Yeah, well, and then of course you had the backstage segment with Jey Uso and CM Punk set up the tag team match for
Yeah.
main event that night.
Yeah,
Dun, dun, dun,
bipolar
dun.
Jey Uso, who now
Yeah,
apparently is not a heel anymore, and doesn't like he's like, yeah, now he's down with helping people out now instead of just looking out for
yeah.
himself. So I'm like, okay, what happened to all of this stuff that you've been setting up with Jey Uso? Is it just you stopped it? You dropped the ball on it?
It's
What the
that we
heck's
got
going on
Survivor
with the show?
Series coming up, and we need some teams for War Games. So,
We can't have feuding within the War Games team. Like that's really WWE just feels like it's not even like this is long term storytelling that's going to pay off later. It feels like they start a lot of things where it just abruptly changed direction. Jay's attitude here felt like this complete wild change in direction when they've been so clearly building to him doing a heel turn.
yeah, speaking of upcoming changing directions and heel turns, we had Roxanne Perez and Raquel against Stephanie Vaquer and Nikki Bella, the odd
Yeah.
duo, which now is coming to light a little bit more on what we see is probably what I think is probably going to happen. Of course, it was an okay match. Of course,
Yeah,
Nikki
it's
Bella
fine.
took the most of the beating from Raquel and Roxanne, and ended up being the one to take the pin. Stephanie had some great moments as well in there, but it was all really, I think this is all just kind of, again, storytelling, trying to push it through. You had Nikki take the pin, get the Pop Rocks hit on her, and Roxanne won.
Yeah.
So backstage, you had Nikki kind of telling Stephanie, because Stephanie was already like dressed, getting ready to leave. She was done for the night. And Nikki was like, why can't I just beat this younger talent? And am I just too old or something like that? Right. And Stephanie's
Right.
like, no, it's okay. Again, this is honestly, I feel ultimately going to lead to a Nikki Bella heel turn, and that she'll be the challenger for Stephanie Vaquer. When that will happen, I don't
Probably.
know. But I think
Yeah.
that's the because it was just odd that they paired them together like that. They're like, oh, we're friends backstage. You didn't see it because it's backstage. We're friends backstage, not on camera, but just backstage. And now we're going to be partners.
Just
So
backstage.
yeah, it's gonna be I think it's gonna be an inevitable heel turn for Nikki Bella to challenge Stephanie Vaquer because of the jealousy. She's gonna want to win the title before she officially retires like a third time. And so we'll see what becomes of that. What did you think?
Yeah, no, I think you're right. Like the match itself was fine. I don't really particularly care for Nikki Bella at this point in her career, so I still don't really understand. Like, is she part time? Is she full time? She kind of pops up randomly. She'll disappear for long periods of time, and then she'll all of a sudden be there every single week. Probably, I think it's makes sense that they'll probably put her against Stephanie Vaquer. Although I feel like there's lots of younger talent, newer talent. I don't know that they
You
need to
were,
be going back to Nikki Bella for this. So,
yeah. There's so many that Stephanie
but it
could have a
is what
proper
it is.
feud
It's
with.
fine.
Yeah,
Yeah, she got problems with
it's
lots of folks.
yeah. So then after that, we had Penta versus El Grande Americano, which I I would like to take a moment and just say like applaud Ludwig Kaiser because he took a dying gimmick that was pretty much dead in the water. They're just like, here, dude, just finish this off for us. Yeah. And he elevated it so much. Like he is so over in WWE. He's over in Triple A, like in Mexico, like it's nuts. And I love it. I'm here for it. I love it. So
Yeah.
yeah, Penta Grande Americano with the other Americanos there, which I think, if I'm not mistaken, is Pete Dunne and it's Mustache Man, pretty much. Pete Dunne and yeah, sorry. So anywho, you had them side by getting in running interference. Penta trying to get the offense going. Of course, one of them gets ejected. The other one hands the little metal piece to
Yeah, it's
Grande
Rio and
Americano.
Bravo, right? Because I
Yeah.
finally caught him like Rio Bravo, like Raging River. And so it's Rio and Bravo.
Okay.
Yeah.
There we
And
go.
so when they kept saying the Bravo and then Rio, and I was like, Rio Bravo.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's Raging River. So that's
That
what
makes
their
sense. Okay,
names
I
put
get it.
together, right?
That's
So
cool.
I got a little chuckle when they called them Rio. When they started saying them pretty quickly, I realized sort of what it was. So they're Rio Bravo technically.
Oh no, it's Rayo. Rayo. I just looked it up.
Rio?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought because he kept calling him Rio.
Yeah.
Because
Huh.
he goes raging because it means like raging and goes and Bravo is river, but they were saying that on commentary and I was like Rio Bravo, um, which would for me would make more sense.
That's interesting. I didn't even catch that. Good catch. But yeah, they had it was an okay match. Again, he they give him the plate. Penta super kicked him. He missed with the headbutt and then hit him with the Mexican Destroyer for the victory off the ropes. Actually, that was pretty good. So that was nice. But other than that, it was fine. It was fine. It was just kind of again just a
Yeah,
nice
it was
filler
fun.
match.
I
Some
enjoy it. Like I haven't grown tired of the whole El Grande Americano
no,
gimmick. I think it's fun.
I agree.
For me, it's just a nice little change up.
I love it. It's so how can I say it? It's a nice refresher because you kind of just like they're just kind of doing their own thing. They're just kind of going around, he's fighting whoever he wants. It's just I don't know. I like it a lot. Speaking of things I'm also liking a lot, Dominic Mysterio came out to kind of brag
Yeah.
about how after his ninth intercontinental title champ defense, I should say, he is the best Mysterio, King of the Luchadores, all that good stuff. Of course, that brings out a returning Rey Mysterio, which was nice to see, a nice little
Yeah.
surprise. I honestly did not see that one coming because I know Rey's been doing work for Triple A, trying to help them get up and running. I think that they kind of gave him that as a little project, but I like that too. They had him come out. Of course, he told they had a nice spot where he told Dom like don't be disrespecting the other wrestlers before you. He had mentioned Eddie Guerrero and Dom quickly was like, you leave my father's name out your mouth.
Yeah, keep my father's name out of your mouth. Like that was the. I'm sorry. I swear, Dom's ascent to stardom needs to be studied because
Yeah.
he was the most booed, most hated heel, getting the most heat, and now he's still a heel. He hasn't
Yeah.
done a
He's
change,
not
and
faced.
he got a huge pop from the crowd. The crowd was completely behind him. Like they really had to work hard to get a booze. The only time he got booed was when he said he was better than Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah.
That was it. Like all the rest of the times they were cheering him, and he said that he got booed a little bit, but they really had to work hard to try and get the crowd to boo him. He is so over; it's ridiculous, and everything
Yeah.
about the segment was hilarious. I thought it was so well done and so good.
Yeah, it was great. And of course, he tried to hit Ray. Ray hit him with the 619 and walked over. I think they announced it or not yet, but it's gonna be Rey Mysterio and Dominic at Survivor Series because it's in
Yeah,
San Diego, their hometown. I love this idea. I love this concept. I love this match because this match is going to be great. It's, Dom's improved so much. It's been a long running feud trying to finally get a chance to end it. So I'm excited for that. And if I'm not mistaken, I think we are going to have it. I'm double checking right now. I think we are going to have it at. I think we are going to have it at
That's Survivor
Survivor
Series.
Series. I think so. I think they've already
Yeah,
announced
I
it.
think so too.
But what did you think of the segment?
Yeah, I think so too. Segment was great. I really enjoyed it. I think this is the most fun segment of the show, just because I really love what Dom's doing here. I mean, Ray is getting to the point now. He needs to try to call it a career. He's had a
Mhm.
fantastic career, but he's older now. He's starting to slow down. So I'm hoping this is kind of the lead up to him maybe starting to talk about his retirement tour. I hope, but I'll say this: I hope that they don't do a retirement tour for everybody, because we already did this with
Yeah,
John Cena. They've already announced a retirement tour for AJ Styles. It's like, don't announce any more retirement. Don't announce one for like every time somebody gets close. I don't think everybody needs this level of a goodbye to go on for like a year or months and months and months. But looking forward to this one. This one should be fun.
I agree. It'll be a good match, and I think Dom's going to go over on this one. I mean, they can't. I don't see
I
Ray
agree.
beating him for this. I mean, I love Ray, but I don't.
Yeah, it doesn't make
It wouldn't make
sense to
sense.
like
Yeah,
try to set Dom back at this point. It's like just strap the rocket to him. If you want to strap the rocket to somebody, strap the rocket to Dom.
and
I
Braun.
feel like you'd get a better reaction. And Braun, but well, because people talk about like Jey Uso getting the rocket strapped to him, and like Jey, for me, it didn't make sense at the time when they said we're going to push him and push him and push him, and it still doesn't. That they still keep putting him into main event title picture matches, but Dom at this point is not Dom's entrance that's over. Dom's over. Dom's over significantly. So just let him have his time. Let him have his opportunity.
I agree. I agree 100%. After that, we had Asuka, Kairi Sane versus Bailey and Lyra. Again, Lyra and Bailey still trying to find each other's groove. And after this match was okay. It was really just to set up the feud
Yeah.
between Charlotte and Alexa and Asuka and Kairi. So the Kabuki Warriors came out on top. There was, pretty much they did have a post match beatdown, which Alexa and Charlotte came out to save and just kind of stood tall with their titles up. Nothing really outside of that. This is just more to give them something to
Yeah.
do. It looks like they had, you know, I think this is going to be fine. But before that happened, really what I wanted to talk about was we had Becky Lynch come out after a commercial break. She's standing on the table, she's on the commentator's desk, and she's ran
Yep.
through the, just kind of was going through at Maxine Dupree, made fun of New Mexico a little bit, had that nice line about how the only good thing that came out of New Mexico was a show about how much meth they do. Of course, a nod to Breaking
Yeah.
Bad, one of the best shows ever, which was a nice little, nice little jab. But this feud
Yeah, it was
between
a
her and
good touch.
Maxine,
That got a
yeah,
smile out of me when I heard it. I was like, ah, that's
yeah,
funny. That's good.
yeah. And so it's pretty much setting up her and Maxine for the title. She said she's not going to go anywhere. She talked about how her husband's out on the shelf, but she's still here. She's not going to waver. But yeah, it was nice. But she was walking back to the backstage area, walking up the ramp. The Kabuki Warriors were making their entrance, and we had a nice little moment where her and Asuka were just kind of staring each other down. And I'm like, yes, we need Asuka versus Becky, because Asuka came back from injury and she has been on fire. Like everything she's been doing has
Yeah,
been
she
great.
has.
Everything, this whole heel, I love Asuka as a heel, and I'm so glad they're keeping it like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to see this. Let Asuka take the title off of Becky. That's fine. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, and I agree. And I know they with her knee injury and she was out for like a year. They kind of
Hmm.
it's like it made sense to kind of let's still working out. They put her right in the Queen of the Ring tournament, so they didn't really slow roll her. But she's had a chance to do some of the tag team wrestling and to kind of continue to get her conditioning back up and all that. But even with all the injury and all the time off, she hasn't missed a step. So she's looking
Hmm.
great right now. And yeah, I would agree. I feel like the time is now. Give Becky Lynch a proper foil. That's not Maxine Dupree.
Yeah,
That's gonna be Oscar.
I agree. I agree. So after that, we had what I thought was my match of the night: AJ Styles, Dragon Lee versus Finn Balor, JD McDonough for the World Tag Team titles. Just a great match. I mean, look
Yeah.
who you have in the ring: AJ Styles, Dragon Lee, Finn Balor, JD. I mean, this was a great match all around. Lots going on. Go back and watch it. I can't do it justice with just talking about it. It was such a great match. Before that, you had Dom come out asking why they didn't help him with Ray, and they're like, well, Roxanne kind of was like, hey, maybe you should go help them. So he kind of foreshadowed what
Yeah.
was going to happen. He came out towards the end of the match with a shillelagh, and hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Sheamus comes out and steamrolls him so he can get the shillelagh back. And again, that all just ended. But again, great match. I enjoyed every bit of it. Tag team champions, AJ Styles, Dragon Lee retained. I loved it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, great stuff. I agree. Match of the night. really, really good. And it's funny, like I feel like JD and Finn are getting a little bit more love just in general because they were names that got called out by CM Punk earlier, where he's like talking about people who were deserving, and CM Punk talked about JD McDonough and Finn Balor, and he specifically talked about JD McDonough first, and that's the second time that CM Punk has acknowledged JD McDonough as
Mm-hmm.
being really great. He did that on
Yep.
commentary a couple of weeks ago too, so nice to see them getting some love. Obviously, you knew they weren't going to get their titles back that quickly.
Right.
AJ and Dragon weren't going to drop it. You did have like shenanigans and interference and things
Of
like that
course.
going on here, of course. But this stuff was really great. Agreed match of the night for me too.
Yeah, this was good. After that was our main event: CM Punk, Jey Uso versus the Bronze, and dumbest ending ever. This match was okay. It was all just to set up the end, really.
Yeah, this
Double count. All of a sudden, the refs know how to count to 10. Any other match, they
yeah,
get to like 8,
they
and
let
then
it
they come
go.
outside. They come outside. And they're like, "Hey, you need to come in because you're gonna get counted out." And this one, he didn't care. He just counted to 10, and he was done. Double count
Yeah.
out. Really, this was
And it
just
was
set up.
and it was a short match. It started with like 13 minutes left. I was
Yeah,
like, man, this is going to be a short match. And it wasn't even 13 minutes because they had the double count out, and then there was still time for shenanigans before they
yeah.
went off air. And I'm
Post
like,
match beatdown, and then Logan Paul
yeah,
comes out
this
for
was
the
a
save.
lazy match.
Yeah,
Lazy match with a lazy finish is what I thought. As soon as it was done, I was like, oh my gosh, this
yeah.
is dumb.
You
But
had
I'll let
Logan
you
Paul
take
come
us
out to
through the
save
finish here.
the post-match beatdown. Logan Paul comes out,
Yeah.
puts on the brass knuckles, looking at Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, thinking that he's going to save CM Punk. He doesn't. Turns around, decks CM Punk instead, and then hands the brass knuckles over to Paul Heyman, kind of insinuating he's going to align. I don't know if he's going to join the Vision because I don't think his ego can tolerate working as an underling in the faction. I think he feels he needs to be the lead of the faction. But yeah, so essentially it looks like now I'm confused because I thought War Games was going to be shifted to the Wyatt Six and the MFTs, but it looks
so did
like
I.
I mean, this also opens up the door to have a War Games match between the Vision with Logan Paul by their side against CM Punk, Jey Uso, probably Jimmy, and whoever else they pick up. Maybe Roman. I don't know. Maybe a returning Seth Rollins. I don't know. I don't think Seth Rollins would be ready in time. I don't think he would.
Seth won't be ready. That's where I'm like,
there's no way.
I think they'll probably take LA Knight and stick him back into this.
Maybe
because of his ongoing with the Vision.
Yeah.
Which is
kind but of who else aligns with the Vision? That's what I'm trying to figure out. That's only 3. Out, remember, that's only 3. They need 2 more.
It's only 3, but I mean, Brock Lesnar, because Paul Heyman's going to call in his guys. So Lesnar's probably the other one, and then you'd need 1 more. And I don't know who.
Yeah, I don't. I'm trying to look through the roster right now. I don't,
because I mean, the people have been saying for like the last few weeks that Austin Theory was going to come back and join them, but it doesn't make like they haven't done any setting up for that at all.
No,
so it would just be random, and they might WWE's shoehorn. Remember they shoehorned Bronson Reed into the War Games match last year.
Yeah.
So they were just like, oh yeah, by the way, he's part of the Bloodline 2.0. So I wouldn't put it past them.
Yeah, we'll see. But that was Raw in a nutshell. A lot and a lot of nothing happened aside from some successful title defenses, and that was pretty much it. Actually, just one.
Yeah, and that and just setting up Logan Paul as a adversary for CM Punk, which nobody really wants to see. So yeah, that was that, and then SmackDown was interesting too. Like not a whole heck of a lot happened. Cody Rhodes came out to celebrate his win at Saturday night's main event. Said that, hey, Drew introduced the title into the title match or to the match, and that Cody's reluctance to pull the trigger in the past had cost him, so he's not hesitating anymore as the justification for why he's doing like heel things. And everybody seemed to just accept that. And he was like, all right, well,
it seems legit.
I'm moving on. Yeah,
makes sense. It's
makes
fine
sense to me.
I'll take it.
I was like, really? We're giving Cody a pass on this? Like this is ridiculous. Cody is a heel. Drew shouldn't be mad. And then he's like, I'm moving on from Drew, which you knew was not going to be the case. Like, as soon as he said that, I'm like, wow, you're not going to just nonchalantly. I'm like, Drew will show up at some point. Spoiler alert, Drew shows up at some point. But then you have Cody going, I'm just going to sit at ringside in my suit and watch the show with the fans. And then you got the randomness of random Aleister Black coming out to challenge Cody. And it was like, his nightmare begins now. And then Zelina Vega slapped Cody, which I half expected. Brandy Rhodes is going to come out. Like, this is like a la CM Punk kind of slap. I kind of half expected that, but it didn't. And then Nick Aldis came out and just said, all right, you want to fight him? You've got it. You're in the main event. And I'm like, really? Like, you're going to do that to the champ? You're going to stick him in the main event against Aleister Black, who has done nothing to earn a match. Wasn't a title match, but
In
nothing to
fairness,
earn really a match.
in
In
fairness, it is
fairness,
Aleister
yeah,
Black. It is Aleister Black.
I know.
I like it.
However, he still had all he's done is throw fireballs at Damian Priest for the last like 3 months. So I don't know if that puts him next in line. But he was like, Cody's like, all right. And then it was like, okay, so there's our main event. So main event set up for later. After this, you had Ilya Dragunov come out for the U.S. Championship Open Challenge. I always want to say U.S. Open. Answering the challenge was Tommaso Ciampa, but then he was like, I'm not giving you the opportunity. He gave it the opportunity to Johnny Gargano instead. This was a really great match. This is my match of the night, really. It was fantastic. You had a great superplex where Ilya kind of had Johnny Gargano. He was on the outside in the ring and picked him all the way up and then did the superplex with him. So that was pretty neat. Of course, Ilya Dragunov ends up retaining. He hits the H-bomb, gets the cover. But this one was a really, really great match overall.
I agree. I loved it.
And kind of the continuation of this is going to be, Gargano keeps getting humiliated by everybody.
Yeah.
Gets humiliated by Dragunov and brushed aside.
Maybe next week we'll have Tommaso Ciampa and Ilya.
Yeah, Tommaso Ciampa, excuse me. Yeah. So so that was that one. And then after this, you had the kind of a short, odd segment where Jade Cargill came out because she's going to celebrate her title victory. Mm. She looked like she had raided Rhea Ripley's wardrobe when I saw her, because it was like all the black tights with the mesh and like all the spikes. And I was like, she looks like Rhea Ripley dressed her this week. But all she did was walk out, say one sentence like, I won. I can't remember what it was. So it was just like, I won. I'm going to beat everyone down. And then just dropped the mic and left. It was short and sweet. Yeah. It was the fastest like taunt ever, which was fine. Like, I think you want to show that she's like a monster. And then she walked out and hit the top of the ramp, and there was the face off because Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss were coming down. So that was really kind of most of the segment was her and Charlotte kind of jawing at each other to set up her versus Charlotte Flair later. Is at least the way that I took it.
Yeah, I think it was a smart move on WWE's part, because one of the things Jade kind of struggled with a little bit early on was her promo work. So I think letting her talk for like 15 minutes is probably not the best thing right now. But agreed. I mean, she essentially just came out and said, "You saw what I did to Tiffany. I am that blank," and then just like dropped it because she wants to.
And just drop the mic and
you know what? Less is more. I'm cool with that, because I like that she's just like, it's kind of like when you had like the heels back then, like you had like Brock Lesnar wouldn't talk.
Yeah.
Even like for a while, Batista would.
He had Heyman doing. Yeah. He had Heyman cutting.
You know what I mean? So I think this works. I'd rather keep it that way, because I think that's one thing she struggled with was her promo work, and I think this is a good way to just kind of limit it. Just limit it. Like, just come in, dominate, destroy people, and then like leave. Like that simple. I think we'll see how it goes.
And it's funny. Like I forget. Obviously, you see Jay's like incredible physique, incredible athlete. Like, she looks fantastic. When you see her like compared to the other superstars, so like when she was on the ramp standing next to Charlotte and Alexa, she's like towering over both of them, which I was like, man, she's so much bigger than both of them. And then backstage, they had a jawing segment with her and B-Fab and Michin. She's way physically bigger than B-Fab and Michin, because she's going to have a match with B-Fab. They kind of talk crap.
And she should squash her. That should be a squash. That should be over like in 3 minutes. Yeah, this should be like done in like a minute.
She's so impressive physically when you see her like standing next to, and these are not small superstars either.
No, they're not.
B-Fab compared to the other stars is pretty big, and then you see her standing next to Jade, and you're like, holy moly! So got the setup for that, and then you had Charlotte Flair versus Nia Jax, which this is my dud of the night. Match was a little slow. It was a little sloppy. It wasn't great. Nia didn't look awesome. And then it ended with Lash Legend returning, which nobody reacted to. I think a lot of people were like, who's this? Because she had been off, obviously she's on NXT a lot.
But commentary remembered. Commentary remembered.
Hey, it's Lash Legend. Yeah, we haven't seen her in months.
This is how I pictured it. It's Lash Legend. We haven't seen her in months. She is so great. Look at her. She is awesome.
She is incredible. Wow. She's aligned. I guess Nia Jax does have a friend. She does have a friend indeed. Didn't they say
she has a friend in her?
Friends? I guess she found a friend in Lash Legend, which is the whole thing. So she found a friend in Lash Legend. Lash Legend attacked Alexa, and of course that caused a distraction, which allowed Nia to get the upper hand. She hit the Annihilator, and apparently her, Lash Legend and Nia Jax are besties. And we saw that when they were backstage chatting about it, with Nia talking about she's my best friend, and Lash just making faces and smiling the whole time. Which is a little much for me, but this was all okay. The match itself was not great, and I keep going back to, we haven't seen Nia, I don't think, like really wrestle a match since she had that botch fest in the triple threat, and she doesn't look any better. She doesn't look any better. Like, she looks like she's slowly like falling apart before our eyes, which is a sad thing. But it was what it was for me. I wasn't super happy with this. Yeah. And then we have more matches announced, by the way, for the John Cena Last Time Is Now tournament, because they announced on Monday. It was what, Sheamus is going up against Shinsuke Nakamura,
which I'm excited for. Sheamus and Shinsuke.
And who is the other one? Rusev and
it's Rusev and Damian Priest.
Yeah, so that was the first set. So they did a draw. So we're going to get The Miz versus Jey Uso. So you got cross kind of branding ones.
So Jay's going to win.
Which Jey will totally win. And then LA Knight versus, well, I'm just going to keep this a surprise. And I'm like, no, which means you're going to have LA Knight lose.
It's Joe Hendry.
You're going to bring, yeah, but well, I'm like, you're going to bring in like a mystery opponent, and you're going to make all this hype for who's the mystery opponent. And I'm like, can we please stop doing stuff like this to LA Knight? Because I have a very hard time believing whoever this needs to be kept secret, super secret mystery opponent is going to end up. I don't think they're going to end up losing. So
you know what would be awesome? See. Matt Cardona.
Well, that's what I was thinking too. I was like, I'm betting they're going to do something like that. Like the mystery opponent's going to be one of those independent people who may or may not work here, and that's going to be the name. But we'll see. If it is Matt Cardona, though, I hope LA Knight wins, because I'm like, really, like, that'd be the worst thing. You bringing in a guy off the street and having him beat him.
Well, Matt Cardona was on TNA recently, so
yeah, no, he was. So it's possible. It's possible they could totally do it. After this, we had
hold on, I'm sorry. One
Chelsea
thing.
Green.
One thing.
No. Yeah.
But if they do Matt Cardona, it needs to be Zack Ryder.
Yeah, he's got to come back as
at insult to injury with LA Knight, and have Zack Ryder win with the Rough Rider.
Have Zack Ryder have him come out as Zack Ryder, and then have LA Knight come out as Max Dupree.
Yes.
Let's just do it. It's like we're doing old gimmicks here. That's what we're gonna do. It. And then you got Julia versus Chelsea Green. This was a short match with Chelsea Green getting a surprise roll up and putting her legs up on the ropes for leverage, and she won back the U.S. Championship in probably the quickest, most anticlimactic, most surprising win, which made sense. I felt like they shouldn't have taken the title off of her in the first place. I felt like what they were doing with her as the U.S. champion, the Secret Hervis, was great. So I'm glad that they did this. But for me, this was all like, why did you even bother going through this whole process of having Julia win it if you were going to have her hardly defend it? You weren't going to have her on TV much. This just didn't make a ton of sense for me to have Julia do this very uneventful title run, much like they did with Zelina Vega having a very uneventful title run too with the U.S. Championship. But it's back with Chelsea Green, which is where I think it should be at this point.
I agree.
So I'm happy that they're going to hopefully stop jobbing her out a little bit, because she had a time where she was just losing to everybody. But now she's the AAA mixed tag champion, plus she's also the WWE Women's United States Championship. So congratulations, Chelsea Green.
Yep, I agree. This was the best move, because we weren't doing anything with Julia, and it was kind of like, I mean, why even have like you'd forget it existed at some point. So this was a good move.
Yeah, this was a good move. And then after this, you had Rey Fenix versus Tala Tonga in what I felt was not a great move. So the match was good overall. It was just too competitive, because this is supposed to be like Tala Tonga, the 7-foot giant who can't be stopped, going up against Rey Fenix. And I know it's Rey Fenix, and I know Rey Fenix is great, but it's a gigantic guy versus a tiny guy. and you can say speed and this and that. I feel like this is an opportunity to you're trying to sell him as this monster heel. So why make this big competitive matchup? It had Motor City Machine Guns and Shinsuke Nakamura jump the MFTs at ringside. So that was their justification for, we're going to clear out everybody else. And so it'll be competitive. It still shouldn't have been competitive, though. Tala did eventually win. He hit the powerbomb, then he hit a choke slam for the win. And then you had Sami Zayn run down, because they were beating up Rey afterwards, and Sami had already warned Nick Aldis that he was gonna intervene, even though he wasn't medically cleared, so he ran down with a chair for the save. But which is where I was like, are we still gonna do something with the MFTs at Survivor Series in a War Games match. Maybe. I don't know. I still feel like that made more sense. You had the Wyatt Six kind of stalking them backstage right before this segment, or right before the match, where they kind of creeped up. So I'm holding out hope there because I feel like that makes a little bit more sense. If you like, there's more of a natural War Games match there than trying to slap everything together. But the match was fine. I just, for me, Big D, I really wish if you're going to showcase the big monster, just have him go out there and smash somebody, especially if you're going against an opponent that's that much smaller.
Yeah, I mean, maybe putting him against Ray Phoenix wasn't the best route because you don't want to make Ray Phoenix look weak. I think that's probably what the issue was,
Agreed.
and so
Yeah.
they needed to put him up against somebody else that maybe could have taken the loss. You know what I mean? And just got squashed, even if it was like a developmental talent. I don't know, but they need to up him up a little bit in terms of like his persona, right? Because he really hasn't done a whole lot. He's done some stuff, but this was his opportunity to kind of shine as like the dominant force in the MFTs, right? And this, I mean, it's fine. He won. He was still, he was still the tall man standing and all that good stuff. But I feel that's just maybe because they needed Rey Phoenix to kind of help him in like his, I don't know. I couldn't figure it out either. It was just odd to me why we would do that, but
yeah, it was an odd choice. It was an odd choice. It seemed somewhat random, but
yeah.
But yeah, and then after this, you got main event was Aleister Black versus Cody Rhodes. Good match. It was good.
Mm-hmm.
That ended somewhat predictably because you knew Drew McIntyre was going to show
up at
some point.
He mentioned Drew, so Drew was going to come.
Yeah, he mentioned Drew, and you also knew Damian Priest was going to show up because like they haven't really formally officially signed everything off of him and Aleister Black, and of course he did.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought it was funny that both men were down in the ring and starting to get up, and the refs counting, and then Drew just runs in and just claymores the ref.
He like, forget Cody, forget Aleister. I'm gonna take the ref out.
Bam, just goes and claymore the ref, and then it's like shaking him because it's like the ref that screwed him. So
that's your WrestleMania
match:
Drew McIntyre versus the refs.
Drew McIntyre versus the refs. That'd be hilarious. But he claymored the ref, and then Cody and Aleister, or excuse me, Drew and Aleister were taking down Cody and beating up at Cody. And then Damian Priest ran down to even the odds. They kind of worked together. They cleared out the ring. Eventually, they ended up standing tall. And then you had Nick Aldis just pop out and say, Drew McIntyre, you're suspended. And it's like, why is Drew always the one getting suspended? Like,
well, he had the movie to
he's
film.
Out of line attacking the referee. Well, yeah, but it's like this is like the second suspension that he's got, right? Because they tried to suspend him before. And you have other heels that do worse. Again, Paul Heyman got put through a table and nobody got suspended from the Bloodline 2.0. So, like, you have other guys that do this stuff more frequently than Drew does. I'm still on the Drew bandwagon of Drew really does get treated worse than everybody else. And he's usually right about things. Still on that bandwagon. But that's kind of how it ended. Because my first thought was, we're leading towards a tag match. I half expect next week on SmackDown, you're going to have Cody go, Nick, I want you to lift that suspension because me and Damian Priest want to take on Aleister Black and Drew McIntyre tonight. And he's like, well, you want it, Cody. You've got the champion's prerogative. You've got it. And then he's going to let him have it. And then it's going to be like, that suspension lasted. It didn't even last a week. And he's wrestling on SmackDown. So I half expect that's how the story is going to go because they're clearly going to build up to at least a tag match before they do any sort of a blow off.
I agree.
Cody, but
yeah.
But yeah, that's how SmackDown ended. That's how it was.
Yeah, it was okay. This week was just okay. I think it's just like that rush trying to get stuff going. I don't know. I mean, that's pretty much it. They're just trying to get the feuds going, set up War Games in a few weeks, and so trying to build for that. So we'll see how that grows and goes. But yeah,
they're not gonna have much time. It's fast and furious until War Games coming up. Time we get through this week, we'll be 2 weeks out. So hopefully we get some clarity on the War Games match. You've heard our predictions in terms of what we were hoping for.
Yeah,
which was Wyatt Six versus the MFTs. But what do you all think? How do you think this is going to shape out? Let us know in the comments. Who do you think the actual War Games participants are going to be? If they do go with some sort of a kind of a hybrid team for the Vision, who do you think that extra member is going to be, or the extra 2 members are going to be? Brock Lesnar, I feel like it's got to be one of them, but we'll see. Who knows? I think we've been teased with Brock Lesnar a lot, and it hasn't panned out. But who do you think it's going to be for those final 2 members? Leave us in the comments. Let us know. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We'd love to hear from you as always, and we appreciate the support as always.
Of course.
And that's what we got. That's what we got for this week, Big D. We'll see y'all next week. Have a
Yeah.
great week, everybody. We'll talk to you soon.